was Kiss, and this is Habsolutely with Paul K. Lemire at the helm. Co-host John Fillion.
Bonjour, mon ami. Ça va bien aujourd'hui?
Your mic is cranked. You sound good.
And
Merci beaucoup, mon ami.
and we also have YouTube superstar Drew Deeks in the house today.
You Struble.
Drew Alipa.
I am not trained.
Drew Adika.
Ginla.
I had about 4 nicknames by the time we finished our last show. That was fun.
Est-ce que tu vois le match de hockey hier soir?
Oui.
Oh,
C'est très bien. C'est magnifique.
I think he's had too many shots of Sorlentum or whatever the hell that's called from a Sujalais or whatever it is from.
Ooh, I love going to Sujalais.
Sujalais. Yeah, there's a maple whiskey.
A boy named Sujalais.
Sujalais. There he is.
Is that a whiskey?
Drew Ginla.
Hello.
Yeah, it's a whiskey. It is. So
Okay.
anyway, here we are. Habsolutely. We are at Wednesday, June the 19th. And we are counting down the days to the draft where we're so excited about the Habs and the picks they have. We can't get over it. And we're doing a live show, I heard.
We are in talks right now with our agents.
We're in negotiations.
To do a live stream, possibly from Paul K. Lemire's beautiful backyard, which I had the chance to visit yesterday. And it's a great setup.
It is. And the good
Like,
thing...
it's really, really nice out there.
You're going to have to speak to Dan Milstein.
Okay.
He's my agent now, okay?
Oh,
All goes through him.
you went to the other side, didn't you?
Absolutely.
And you know what? Drew promised that
All
if,
this anti-Russia talk, and there he goes.
I know, eh?
if Habs don't make the right choice, he's going to jump in the pool.
If they make the right choice,
He's doing
I'll
the
jump in
jump.
the pool.
He's
If they
doing
make
the
the
You know
wrong,
what? Drew's going to jump in the pool no matter what.
that's what I'm getting
I got
at.
a feeling.
I got a feeling deep inside.
I got a feeling.
So anyway, here we are. Let's do a little Habs draft trivia to start out. Okay, and then we're going to get into the game last night a little bit. We're going to talk about the game last night.
Is there still hockey being played?
Well, you know there's hockey being played because it's
Not
the
that I care
hottest
about.
day of the year.
Yeah.
And that's when the Stanley Cup generally gets given out, on the hottest day of the year.
Speaking of Stanley Cup, what do you got on your hat there, John?
Oh, that's the
Yeah.
starter logo
Uh-huh.
and a tag.
Uh-huh.
But speaking of Stanley Cup winners, oh my gosh!
Last Canadian team to win the Stanley Cup, 1993.
Look at that camera. Tilt it down. Make sure everybody can see. Is that an OG 93
This
cup
is
hat?
original. Yes, this is an original. There's the NHL certificate.
That's
of
worth money.
authenticity.
You have the tag?
I have the starter tag still
Why'd
on
you
it with the
bring it?
NHL, and it's the 1993 Stanley Cup champions Montreal Canadiens hat.
There you go.
And
So
I can't wait to be wearing my 2027
5.
I said 9, but
Montreal Canadiens Stanley Cup championship hat.
25 and 25. We're looking for next year.
Before we change
You like
decades,
this, eh?
I love that hat. That's awesome. Honestly, did you get that when they won it?
Got it during the run in 93.
You got it before they won the cup,
No,
though?
after they won the cup.
Okay.
Yeah.
So after the run.
Yeah,
Not
but
during.
but
I don't think they had them out
at the
before
same
they
at
won
the same time. They were manufactured. They were sitting in a vault.
Yeah, exactly.
That thing should be in a vault. That thing looks like it's worth money.
It's mint.
It's worth
Like,
about
oh my gosh, the starter.
1995.
Probably the first time I've actually taken it out of the house
Unreal.
and brought it to Habsolutely.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
You know?
I forgot to bring my Scotty Bowman hat.
I have my Morin Heights T-shirt on. Le Studio.
What's that? What's
So
that
Le
from?
Studio is a famous recording
Le Studio.
studio in Morin Heights, just north of Montreal by about 100K, where everybody has recorded, including that fabulous power trio from Canada.
Celine Dion.
Rush.
Yeah, baby. Very good, Drew.
Celine Dion. There's only one of those, Paul. Celine
Really?
Dion. Yeah.
Oh, I thought there was 3 of them.
There's Marcel Dion.
Well, that's 2.
Okay.
The Dion quintuplets, that's 8.
Yeah, there's more than 3.
But anyway. Oh, by the way, we want to thank our viewers And the thumbs up. Give us a thumbs up when you watch the video. Thank you for viewing. We got to thank our viewers all the time and our listeners.
And thanks for all the great comments. Seriously, we appreciate all the comments.
We love them.
Even the mean ones.
We love them all because we learn from them.
Yeah, and not only that, like everybody's got to understand that we do the show here, and we're trying to remember from our old memories things like when Marcel Dion was drafted, what his draft year was, the same as Lafleur 1971. But we know that, and sometimes we just don't get it right, and we thank the listeners who correct us because we deserve to be corrected. We want to be corrected.
Absolutely, we want to be correct.
And it's a test for you, too, to make sure you know what the hell you're talking about. So there you go. Anyway, okay, let's do our little Habs trivia. 1977. Right. I'm taking you back to 1977. These are always lessons.
It was a good year.
Fleetwood Mac, Regannon, I think.
And I was singing.
There you go. Habs,
I'll make a copyright. I don't want to do that.
The Habs managed to scoop a lot of draft picks in 1977. How many draft picks did they have? And I'm going to give you some numbers.
Multiple choice.
12, 14, 21, or 27.
I'm going to say 21, Guy Carbonneau.
14.
Okay. The correct answer is 27.
Frank Mahovlich.
We had 27 draft picks in 1977.
I was looking for the hat trick on trivia, and I failed because the last two times I got Patrick Waugh, and the time before that was Patrick Waugh. And then last week, what was the question again? Do you remember?
Who knows?
It was
the Dion quintuplets.
Yeah, when
no, it was. I totally guessed it. I had no idea.
You got it right. Some about 1968 and the Stanley Cup win. But anyway, they had 27 draft picks. Now I've never heard of that many draft picks. I mean, we got 11 and we're going over the moon.
What year was it? 1977.
77.
So in 1977, there were how many teams in the NHL?
Probably, I would say probably 77. That was after expansion. There was probably like
12?
No, more.
More than that. Maybe
77. That was actually what?
Maybe 18,
I was going to say 15 maybe. 18, but it's got like Sabres would be in by then, I think.
Yeah,
Sabres were in 1970.
I think 70, right? 71, yeah.
So,
but get this. During these draft picks, 16 of the draft picks never made it to the NHL. 3 played just a handful.
Not enough teams.
Yeah, really. 3 played just a handful of games, and the other 8 players made various significant contributions, led by a guy named Rod Langway. Now, you remember Rod Langway, right?
Yes. Absolutely.
I know John does.
Now, during his 4-year stint with the Habs...
Was that a shot?
No, it was a shot at me, because I don't know.
During his 4-year stint with the Habs, the 6'3", 220-pound defenseman managed to win the Stanley Cup with the Habs.
6'3", 220 pounds.
Yeah.
Caden Lindstrom.
Managed to win the Stanley Cup with the Habs in the 78-79 rookie season. Traded to Washington
Laine Hudson.
in September of 1982. 2 Laine Hudsons. He served 11 years with the Caps, where he managed to win 2 Norris trophies. And in the 82-83 season, 83-84 season, he was the Norris Trophy winner. Interestingly enough, Langway was born in...
Quebec.
Montreal.
Taiwan. Yeah, his dad was part of the U.S. Navy, and he was stationed in Taiwan, although he's American. And knee injuries ended his career. He was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 2002. There you go. Rod Langway was the biggest guy of them all.
He was a force.
He was very good on defense. I remember him distinctly, Rod Langway.
And you figure 1977, I mean, you got Serge Savard, Guy Carbonneau, and who's the other guy?
I don't know if they were in the draft, though.
No, they would have been playing, though.
Oh, they would have been playing.
No, it's
Larry
Robinson and Serge Savard and Guy Lapointe. So 3 major dudes who played defense for the Habs.
Yep.
And Langway comes in, and he, like, his size was incredible, but he would have been a tier 2 player compared to those 3.
Yeah.
Imagine that. And then he goes to Washington, and he takes over that team.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
And that just shows you the depth the Canadiens had back then.
There were 17 teams, by the way, at that time.
17. Okay, I thought 18, but 17.
I thought 15, so we split the difference.
Yeah, we split the difference.
There we go.
But yeah, there you go. A little Habs trivia. 27 picks in 1977, and Rod Langway being probably the Hall of Famer of them all. So thank you very much to Rod Langway, and it was a joy watching
Thank you,
in
Mr.
those
Langway.
years.
Well, merci beaucoup, Monsieur Lemire, for the trivia.
There we go. Now we got.
Merci.
I don't really want to, because I really don't care, to be honest. I mean, but we have to touch on the playoff games over the weekend and last night.
Well, last night was a phenomenal hockey game.
Have you ever seen a team that totally dominated, just forget how to play hockey? The goaltender forgot how to play goal, and the coach forgot how to coach. I've never seen this before. You guys, how do you explain this, John? How do you?
Well,
explain
first of all, Edmonton went into a game with nothing to lose. So it's like, let's go have fun. Let it all hang out. We know we can beat this team because we beat them the other night in our own barn.
8-1.
So we know we've got this team now. We can do it. Now it's up to us to go and do it. Now you can say, okay, the last time, I think 3 times during this season, Edmonton lost 3 games and won the next 5. So that's working in their favor mentally, okay? And then you can say that they have a goaltender who, over the course of Series 1, 2, and 3 in this year's finals, or this year's playoffs, in the first 3 games has had a horrible record, but in games 4 to 7 over those 3 series, he's 8-0. He hasn't lost a game in 4, 5, 6, and 7 in those series. They've got everything going for them, to be honest with you. Now, talk about the actual game. Was it Brown? Is that the guy?
Connor Brown.
Connor Brown. I mean, Connor Brown, that play blew my mind.
These guys, yeah, like
that blew my mind. I mean, here they score a shorthanded goal.
Second game
it's
in a row.
Second game in a row, exactly. But not only that, I mean, a lot of times somebody will steal the puck, somebody will pass the puck to somebody, and they'll pass the puck to somebody else and put it in the net. Connor Brown did all 3.
The fact that this
guy, a goal!
Yeah, to beat Bobrovsky.
What a goal!
Did,
and he listened to Wayne Gretzky telling him to go on the stick side. Wayne Gretzky told
to beat Bobrovsky?
Edmonton how to beat Florida.
Did he tell Florida how to pass the puck across the middle of the ice at the blue line on a power play? Because that was the stupidest move I've ever seen.
I mean, that happens all the time. But Connor Brown, to his credit, played it just perfectly.
It's a bonehead move.
Yeah, like Edmonton just seems to be...
He played it perfectly, but that was a bonehead move. I mean, I'm just going, I can't believe they did that. Go ahead. You tell us what you think, because I can't figure this one out.
Well, no, just the fact that like you're getting all the contributions from guys like Connor Brown. He's like what would have been our Dale Weiss, in the 2014 run for the Habs, when our third and fourth liners were showing up and really showing why they matter so much in the playoffs. Like these guys are just give the team so much life when they contribute the way they have.
Boston Bruins back in the day, a guy named Derek Sanderson who concentrated on being effective in the PK. That's what you need. So that speaks volumes to what the Habs have to build towards, is having a significant player that can take over for Jake Evans on the PK 5 years from now.
And we just might have one because we just signed him.
Owen Beck?
Oliver Kapanen.
Yeah.
The guy that you said, we're going to get to him. You said that the Canadiens need to sign him, and they listened to you, John.
Absolutely. And Owen Beck, too, could easily service that role. Okay?
Well, let me ask you guys a question. Because usually you see a turning point in a series when something like this happens. I mean,
it's pretty cool. Now I'm interested. I was not interested in this series until
go from 3-0, and then you get smoked 8-1, not 3-2, not in overtime, 8-1. John, did you see a turning point in this series in those first 3 games at all?
I said Edmonton was going to win it, and then I said, I picked Edmonton. Let's be clear on that.
Good for you.
Okay? I picked Edmonton, and I think you did as well.
I picked Florida for this series.
Did you? I picked Edmonton.
Because
I wanted to see a Canadian team win, and I wanted to see Connor McDavid get a Stanley Cup. And then in the second game, when Draisaitl took out
Barkov.
That's when I said that would be the turning point.
Yeah.
I said Florida now is going to win this series. Was I ever wrong?
Yeah, me too. I thought
Because
you might still be right.
No, because I think that kind of got buried a little bit. I know, and I'm not saying it's over, but that's not the turning point anymore.
No,
that's what
isn't.
I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly.
McDavid took the team on his
And
shoulders.
now what's happened is a guy named Connor McDavid has got a fire inside and it's burning.
Now they can taste it too.
And he's letting it all hang out. So last night people were speaking about I think overall points in a finals or in a Stanley Cup series, and the names are coming up: Gretzky, Lemieux, Gretzky, and now McDavid.
Yeah,
And what is that? Yeah. And that what that's saying to me is that an elite player like a McDavid can actually control the outcome of a final.
Yeah, not just a game or a series, a final.
A final.
And that's what's making, I think, hockey fans probably get back into the series too, because at this point...
It's what made Canadian fans get back into the series.
Yeah, like in my heart, I want Edmonton to win because I want a Canadian team to win. I'm just going by who I thought the better team was, which was Florida. Now the pressure's shifted, it seems, according to Pierre LeBrun, to Florida to win this series because Edmonton has the momentum.
I agree.
So the building's going to be just absolutely nuts on Friday in Edmonton. And you know what? Just that play last night with Connor McDavid getting the puck over to Corey Perry, there was 4 guys. There was 4 guys on McDavid on that play.
The problem was all 4 guys were following McDavid.
Yeah.
They weren't actually on him. They were trying to get to him. So he drew 4 guys to him. And the great thing is that Corey Perry, with his hockey sense of playing how old is Corey Perry? 45? Corey Perry knows...
Older than my mother.
He knows where to go to the net. And really, all McDavid had to do was put the puck over there, and Corey Perry just had to slap it between his arm and his pad.
Yeah,
I mean, it was a well-placed puck.
It was awesome. It was just cool to see because everyone's given the Corey Perry curse, after the 3rd game loss, right? Because he's played in 4 or 5 finals and lost all of them.
But what they've done too with Corey Perry is the Edmonton coach was smart enough to give Corey Perry a day off. Gave him a game off.
That made perfect sense.
I think that made a lot of sense because it gave Corey Perry. He's an old dude. He needs to have a little bit more rest.
He's only 2 years older than me.
He's an old dude.
39. He's 39.
I still won't take this away from Florida. I still believe Florida's going to win. I mean, they're going to
in 7 at home.
I also think Florida is very tired.
Well, I was watching that and I said, you know what? I'm seeing Florida, after going to the finals last year and playing a long season and now going to the finals again, I just saw a little touch of the New York Rangers in Game 6 with Florida. I saw a little touch of them. They looked a little bit tired, the Rangers. And Florida seemed fresh as a
cucumber.
A daisy.
We are 60 days into the playoffs.
Yeah.
60 days. That's 2 months. How long is the season?
82 games.
I mean, it's ridiculous how long this playoff drags out.
Yeah, it really is.
Okay?
I mean, they should shorten the season.
And these guys have played a lot of hockey. I think they're tired. I really do. That their families are like, we don't want to go back to Edmonton. That was too long in the airport. What does that say? They're not even playing the game.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy, the travel and everything. But, Edmonton's got to go through that too. And,
yes.
So...
Definitely, but Edmonton didn't have to do it last year.
No, they might be a bit fresher. I agree with you there, John.
Yeah. They want it. I think they are.
But at the end of the day, you know what? I couldn't care less who wins this or loses it. I mean, I don't care. If it's not the Habs, I don't care.
You know what? I really would like to see McDavid win. I'd like to see a Canadian team win.
Yeah.
I think, and it also speaks so we're seeing a couple things. One is generational player. You do need to have a generational player on your team. Do we have one? Do we have that player now?
No.
I think we might.
Who?
Slafkovsky.
Well, maybe. Okay.
I'm hoping that we spend the time in development making sure Slafkovsky is our generational player.
Yeah, like
if he's not, then we have to find one.
We might be able to see.
Are we
going to
find?
years.
And will we find one this year?
Demidov.
Could be.
Who?
It could be.
Who?
We don't know. I mean,
Isn't it Demidov?
I don't know how to say it.
I know it's Demidov.
We'll figure it out.
Demidov.
Dusseldorf.
Demidov.
Dusseldorf.
Yeah, Ivan Dusseldorf.
Can I just say this about the Oilers before we get off this?
Sure.
Just the fact that, my gosh, after Game 3, all the Connor McDavid haters were like, this and that. He hasn't got to score a goal. He's got 8 points in 2 games.
Yeah.
He's playing phenomenal.
8 points.
I think
Eight.
I think it was pretty well accepted that this team is going to go as Connor McDavid goes. We said him, Draisaitl, and Nugent Hopkins, they have to step up to the plate because they're the team. And now we've seen the results, right?
Listen,
Yep.
Edmonton had an exceptional game the first game. They outshot them 35-10 or something to that effect.
Yes.
Okay?
In game 3.
They got stopped by a big-time goaltender in that first game. That big-time goaltender, much as we talked about last week, he is 35 years old, too.
Yeah, well,
He's probably played every game in the last 2 months.
these 2 games cost him.
He's probably a little tired.
These 2 games cost him the Conn Smythe. Let me put it that
unless
way.
unless
and McDavid is now the guy. Right? Am I right?
Right now,
I believe McDavid is shining.
Yep. He's going to win the Conn Smythe.
This is proving why he is, like, because for the longest time, I mean, since 2015 when he came in, he's been considered the best player in hockey for pretty much almost since the beginning of his career.
Absolutely.
But if you go without a Stanley Cup, something's going to be missing. When Gretzky got his first one, he talked about the weight off his shoulders when that first cup was won.
You got to win a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, so I mean, like he's within 2. They're within 2 games. They can taste it now, and it's becoming more and more real with every win here. So the fact that he has been able to just answer it, almost like he almost just looks natural for him to just take over and dominate. And we've been kind of waiting for this to happen in the finals specifically. True. And now it's happening. And this is good for the game of hockey. It's a good look for the game.
He's also playing this balancing role. So he like on that Corey Perry that Corey Perry goal.
Yeah.
He knew exactly what he was doing.
Yeah.
He was leading 4 players away from the puck and threw the puck back out in front of the net so Corey Perry could put it in.
Yeah.
Like he's a very astute player. You watch him during the power play. It's like nobody knows what he's going to do. And that's part of it. You can't figure out, is he going to pass? Is he going to shoot? What's he doing with the puck? Where's he going?
Whatever he wants.
Absolutely.
Lately. I mean, and now the power play's clicking.
And that, Drew, you nailed it. He has total command when he's on the ice with the puck.
That's what's fun to watch.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yep. And I've got to say, congratulations to the Oilers because you're down and out. Now you're back in it. All bets are off. But at the end of the day, I still think Florida's going to win. That's just me. I know you guys.
I mean, I'm fine with that.
I'm cheering for Edmonton. I told you I thought Edmonton blew it with Draisaitl. That hit. But McDavid.
Yeah, here you go. If he keeps it up.
McDavid's going to need help these next 2 games, though.
Well,
if there is 2 games.
He is getting help.
Right.
I mean,
all I'm saying
that shorthanded goal that set the tone.
For sure. I'm saying from Draisaitl though, like this guy
absolutely
is due for a massive payday after July 1st.
What can Brown do for you?
He's doing a lot right now. I mean, he's been excellent the last 2 games. So
and their goaltender.
Skinner set the tone with some saves in the first period.
5-10 minutes.
Yes,
was sensational.
Yes,
I'm inviting Skinner over for dinner.
Skinner.
There you go.
That was a pretty good impression.
So,
Superintendent Chalmers,
the Skinwalker.
But think about this though, McDavid.
We're not done yet.
McDavid, generational player. Montreal needs a generational player.
That's true.
Demidov.
Look at the wink. He just gave you the wink.
Demidov.
The Patrick Waugh wink right there.
Demidov.
There's some information on him.
That means
Demidov was in.
So do we just go into
Demidov was in Florida last night.
Yes, he was. He'll be there the next couple days.
See, that's the problem is those Russians took over Florida's practice rink. They didn't practice properly yesterday morning.
Oh boy, are we going to be?
That's the problem.
Are we going to be looking for a laptop now? So let's move on. The floor is yours, Drew Deeks. Oliver Kapanen, 20 years old, highly regarded Finn, played for Timrå in the Swedish League, selected second round, 64th by the Habs in the 2021 draft. Appears to be a great signing if you remember Kimmo Kapanen, his father, and Sammy Kapanen, his uncle. You'll know the kid comes from deep hockey roots.
And his cousin Kasperi Kapanen, can't forget him.
There you go. I don't even know her. I never heard of him.
He was on the Leafs and Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, yeah.
Yeah.
And he'll be at camp September 18th. Exciting news for us. We signed him. What do you think, Drew?
Well, I thought of John, first of all. We'll get into Demidov afterwards.
Interesting.
But it is interesting because it's a pick. It's a pick that is potentially hit, or I guess panned out. They say from the Marc Bergevin regime. So it's nice because this is something that we didn't earn. We already had him in the system, but now he is signed, and he's 20 years old. He's a centerman. He's a right shot centerman who has really impressed as of late the last several months.
20, extremely young.
And he's really young, and he's got size. He's got skill. He looks to be more offensive upside than Jake Evans, who is going into the final year of his deal. And then we've got Owen Beck, of course. So it's going to be a battle between Owen Beck and Oliver Kapanen to see who's going to be the third and fourth line centers. I see Owen Beck as having more overall upside from an overall 200-foot game perspective, but Oliver Kapanen has a good 200-foot game as well. And he's going to be playing in a good quality league next season. So one thing is to be clear on that is that we've signed him, but if he doesn't make the Canadiens out of camp, he can still go back to Finland and play in a pretty good quality league, according to Arpon Basu.
Would he go to Laval? No.
He can't go to Laval right away.
Okay.
I mean, that's the whole thing. The way his contract, that's what they're discussing right now is if he doesn't make the Canadiens, they want his development path to, Laval's going to be busy. They're not going to be a lot of
busy.
There's not going to be a ton of spots available for guys. So they want to make sure that they're on the right development path wherever they feel that path is best served.
Well, that's why they have JF Ull.
JF Ull, who got an extension in Laval. But Kapanen's an interesting one. We're still learning about him and stuff like that, but clearly he impressed at the World Championship. He had a good season in Finland. He was the captain of the World Junior team last year in 2023 and really has panned out so far, and that's why they gave him a 3-year entry-level deal. So I think that the Canadiens feel by next season, not this coming season and the following season, him and Owen Beck could very well be battling for the third and fourth line center positions.
John?
Or go right to Laval. There's no rush for either of them.
Owen
still.
Beck is going to go to Laval.
Owen Beck's going to Laval, which is nice.
And
we'll get to see him.
And Owen just turned 20 this year. So he could, he was
They're
19
the same
when he
age.
started the season. Owen Beck could easily spend another 2 years in Laval.
Yeah, well, if he needs to, sure. But what they're saying is that if by the end of the season, if they trade Dvorak, as an example, at the trade deadline, who's still a serviceable centerman, Owen Beck could come in and finish the season with the Canadiens.
Yeah, I think it's early.
It may be, but if he does well in Laval,
Right.
then there's opportunity for him.
Absolutely.
And there's no reason for there not to be.
And a lot of it's going to have to do with Kent Hughes. And this is the thing about Kent Hughes that we know. He
is brilliant.
But he does stuff.
He's a nice person, too.
He was a player
He
agent.
disguises things, right?
Love that about him. Oh, such a smart thing.
He disguises things. I mean,
Yes.
he'll sit there and he'll talk and talk and listen to all the rumors. And then all of a sudden, he makes this move and everybody's going, what?
Where'd that come from?
Like, it comes out of left field. Even
Yeah.
his picks come out of left field. So he really disguises what he's going to do. He keeps things close to the chest.
Yeah.
With his cards. You don't want anybody else to see them. And so when we talk about that, a lot of the people that are in the mix right now that are going to be playing, in September in training camp and in Laval and everything else, they could be gone. And same with the Montreal Canadiens, the players on the bottom two lines, they could be gone. Yeah, because Beck could be some of these players could be gone, and Beck might be the guy to come up if he has a good camp. We don't know because Hughes keeps everything close to the chest.
Beck certainly impressed at the last two camps because he was one of the last cuts for the last two training camps. But we expect him to go to Laval, and that's good. Because
Absolutely.
we need Laval to make the playoffs, and they're going to have Owen Beck, Luke Tuck, Philip Machar as some forwards that are going to newly join the team.
It would be nice if Laval made the playoffs.
Florian Jacki. Yes.
But it's so important that these prospects get the right development.
Yes.
And that's what Laval is really all about. That's why we re-signed J.F. Uhl.
They feel he's the guy.
He's the guy who, when they bring up a player to the big league and they need somebody to fit in right away, they fit. So they're happy with his player development in Laval. Laval, a lot of AHL teams are composed of not just prospects and rookies, but also older players. And the older players that were on Laval last year really didn't show up for Laval. And that's probably why Laval didn't make the playoffs last year.
They were trying to squeeze in, like they brought in Florian Jackeye last minute. They brought in Joshua Waugh after the Habs season finished, and they didn't have chemistry. The chemistry wasn't there.
But like I say, the older players just weren't producing like they should have for Laval last year. Okay,
sure.
I really believe that Laval, like, of course, you want to go to the playoffs. You want to give people more experience, especially these prospects who are in player development. But the key thing is get them playing as many games as possible and get them ready to play that 200-foot rink in the big league.
Sure.
No, that makes sense.
And that's definitely Ken Hughes' idea, and that's why he's got J.F. Uhl continuing to be the coach of that team.
Yep, and I'm just sitting here going, okay, well, we don't know what Hughes is going to do. So it's going to be an interesting when he starts moving pieces and who he's going to move in that. Because we have a lot of pieces to move.
What we really don't know is who's he going to draft number 5.
Let's just go into it then, shall we?
That's what he did. That's what we really don't know. I mean, that's the biggest thing coming up.
Well, the problem with that is trying to predict it is that
it's impossible.
We don't know what he's going to do before the draft.
Yes, that's true too.
We got a lot of people we're talking about. Laine?
Laine,
he's coming back. They're talking about him again. Alex Turcotte, talking about him. Marco Rossi from Minnesota, talking about him. Cole Perfetti from Winnipeg, talking about him. Utah pick 6. They want to trade that pick for active players. They want to trade that pick. We could have 5 and 6.
Well, if we had 5 and 6, that'd be very interesting.
So I mean, we've got so many things that he could trigger. He could pull the trigger on before we even get to the draft, right? And then of course we have who are the other 4 teams going to pick.
We know who's going to go number 1.
We know that. That's the only thing.
But that's you're right. That's the only thing we know. So we don't know 2, 3, and 4.
So a lot of people are saying we don't want a defenseman.
We don't.
But I would not put it past Hughes to pick a defenseman like 6'7"
You can't based on what they've done. But
if the older guys are gone, if Lindstrom's gone and Celebrini's gone and
Celebrini's gone.
Yeah, the other ones, they're all gone. So if they're gone, then he may pick a defenseman.
Well, I think as of yesterday,
I wouldn't put nothing past him. You don't know what he's going to do.
But Demidov could be available.
Let's get into Demidov because I don't think he will be available now. I mean, at least that's what they're feeding.
You know what I want to know? Here's what I want to really know about Demidov. How tall is he?
6 foot.
Are we sure of that?
I'm
now?
sure.
Okay.
Yesterday they measured. Well, the official measurement will be tomorrow, but there was a reporter interviewing him face to face. He was not wearing lifters in his shoes, and this reporter is about 5'11", and he looked at him and said, "He's about 2 inches taller than me." So that puts him at about 6 foot. He could be up to 6'1". We'll find out for sure tomorrow.
Okay.
So that we know. We also know, my friend.
Okay.
We also know that after his contract this year in the KHL, he won't be re-signing.
We know that.
Well, we didn't last week.
I know.
So that's what you're talking about.
That's why I'm excited.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Look at the change.
I know.
Look at the change.
Information.
He loves this guy.
Information is important.
But does that not scream like, okay, now Chicago's definitely taking him at 2? Because he also made it quite an impression.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't scream that. Because Chicago needs so many other players, and they don't have a great defenseman.
Right.
That's why it doesn't scream that.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's still ultimately undecided.
Absolutely.
But we did get to know him a little bit, and he seems like a great kid.
You got to know him a little better, which is great.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's not re-signing is totally important.
Yes.
And the fact that you watched Florida play Edmonton last night, and Florida, who's a team that is kind of the way we've been building, that doesn't have that elite player like the Connor McDavid, and we saw what that elite player could contribute last night in a final.
Yeah.
So we need an elite player. So it's like, yeah, we think Slafkovsky could be it, but we don't know for sure because he hasn't hit that ceiling yet because it's so early in his path that if there's another guy out there like a Demidov, then let's grab him because we have a lot of prospects and players.
He's an exciting
we
player.
need somebody who stands out.
Yeah.
We need that player. We need that Gretzky. We need that Lemieux. We need that. We need that McDavid.
So can I read you his Demidov's puck skills and all that stuff? Demidov.
Sure. Demidov.
So basically, I don't really know where the grades are coming from. Okay, I grabbed this
Russia.
from our boy Grav on YouTube.
North Korea.
Yeah, it's coming from
where he is
Kim
now.
Jong-un. So Ivan Demidov grades: puck skills A+, skating B. I mean, he's not a McDavid level skater. That's fine.
But you know what? You can improve your skating.
I think so. So puck skills A+, skating B, hockey IQ A, shooting A, passing A+, defense C-, physicality C+. So that's just a quick little grading on his current.
That sounds like a Guy Lafleur, except for the skating.
Maybe. I mean, and also he spoke very good English. So that's kind of cool. Like he actually
That's important.
went out of his way to learn and made a good impression. And the one thing that the one scout on Tony Marinaro's podcast that came on last night, he was there and interviewed him. And he was saying that he looked around to see which teams were there to speak with Demidov. And he said he didn't see anybody from Montreal there. So that doesn't mean that Montreal won't be meeting with him, but it wasn't in clear plain sight, Kent Hughes or Jeff Gordon or anybody that they could see. But they're still going to be there for a couple of days. So maybe they're going to meet with him over the coming days here and at least have a conversation and just get a feel for the kid and his character. And obviously the talent is there, but it just seems like, Chicago is going to have to really make quite the decision here because if you're taking best player available, it's Demidov.
I mean,
It's Demidov.
Montreal met with Bedard last year.
I don't know why.
But they did.
Yeah.
They did.
They did, yes.
They met with over 100 people in Buffalo this year.
This year and last year they met with a lot, yeah. Actually, I think
75
it was more this
last year. It was like 100 this year.
more this year, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm sure Kent Hughes is going to, if he doesn't meet with Demidov, someone else is going to speak with him. And they're all about collecting or finding somebody who's also going to fit in with their culture and not disrupt what they already have.
Sure.
Not going to disrupt the woodpile, as somebody might have said back in high school.
Back in grade 9.
So that being said, it is exciting to see what's like. I can't now. I'm more excited about the draft than I was a week ago.
Yeah, that's good. And honestly, even if we don't get the kid, that kid's going to be in the NHL for a long time and going to be fun to watch. And he's going to be playing at the Bell Center one way or another with another team or with us. So that's
True enough.
You know what I'm saying? It's going to be.
enough.
It's just exciting to see this kind of talent still coming into the league, and it is fun. And I don't think we'll talk a ton more on the drafts because we've really exhausted our options. But I want to ask you because, if Demidov does go at 2, let's just say that this happens, and then it's Anaheim who's very, very likely to take a defenseman. Let's say they go Lev Shunov, right? And then Columbus becomes the big question mark for the Canadiens because if they take Lindstrom, you've got Demidov and Lindstrom gone at the 5th position. That's the 2 best forwards gone.
You take the 3rd best forward.
So you said last week, Iginla's the guy.
I agree.
I think Drew Iginla.
I agree.
So
I
do
would
you
have
still
to agree with that.
So do you now? Here's where I think it's coming down to: if let's say Demidov and Lindstrom are both gone at 5, is it Iginla or Seneca?
It's a Gignola for me.
And why do you think?
Because we do need a forward, and we do know he's strong. He's got talent. He will definitely be first or second line.
Yeah, his bloodline is fantastic for hockey. He knows the game. He grew up with the game. His dad was a star. He scored goals. I mean, you can't ask for much more from a kid that they've met with 4 times already. And,
He's been...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but that's only if they decide they're going to take a forward.
What if they just, go out... They met with Sam Dickinson and this and that. But anyway, there's no guarantee, and that's why we're not getting too overly committed necessarily. It's just going to be really interesting when we watch this, and that's why I'm trying to watch the draft live with you guys.
Yeah, it's going to
be fun to see how it goes down, because we're just not going to know until we get closer and closer.
And after it's all said and done,
or until the day of, really.
If before the draft he makes a deal with the 26th pick and a couple of our players for somebody who's already established, like one of these guys I mentioned here, then all bets are off for the 5th pick. I mean, then it goes down to who is the best player that we need, other than a great forward, because we just got one over here.
Yeah, I still think it would be best to see them pick 2 players, because let's just say they pick a defenseman or whatever, and then they find a way to acquire another top 15 pick, like we suggested last week with Cole Yzerman and all that stuff. But if they were able to get 2 forwards out of this draft, I think that would be the biggest home run possible. I would like to see them make the trade to move up before the draft, so we kind of know. But I think they might have to wait until the draft to see who picks what before they can actually do that. So
I agree. I think it's
so now
be phenomenal.
We shift over to the players that are available, and a name has come up, and there's a lot of mixed feelings on it. So I think we got to talk about Patrick Laine for a moment.
We definitely have to.
And we've exhausted the Nichas and Zegras conversations, as has a lot of fan bases and stuff. So, or a lot of fans surrounding the Canadiens. But I do think Patrick Laine is an interesting one. It's a mixture of, there is risk in there, but it's only 2 years if they do take the risk. And if Columbus retains salary on him, especially if it's like in this 50% range, then if, say, you do trade Dvorak, I'm going by Arpon Bassi's logic here, because I really like. We agree on a lot of the same things, so that's why I'm not trying to not be able to form my own opinion. But I do think it makes sense that if they were to, say, move Dvorak out at $4.5 million and then take on Laine at, even if it was $8.7 million, which is a lot, it's a big cap hit. At least you could kind of justify it, because the cap is going up by $4 million, so like the money makes sense. But is the fit there? Because he's in the player assistance program right now and won't be able to return to the NHL until September, until training camp or whatever.
Is he with Justin Timberlake?
Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, we know what happened there. But seriously though, I mean, addiction's it's a pretty difficult thing. I've seen it in my own family, unfortunately, and it's a very ugly thing. But what I have seen though is the beauty of it on the other side, when you really are able to come out of it and be your best self. Patrick Laine hasn't been his best self for 3 years, so maybe, just maybe, that's been part of his struggle.
How old is he?
He's 26. He is 26
I mean, the guy
years
is
old.
Talent. We know that.
He's young. He's still in the window. Like, if you look at his age.
Where did he play hockey before the NHL?
Before the NHL, he's from Finland, so he played in the Finnish league, SM Liga,
Finlandia.
And then drafted second overall behind Austin Matthews, as we know. With the Winnipeg Jets, had a 36-goal season, a 44-goal season, a 30-goal season, 28-goal season, and then it started to drop off. But that's not only part of the risk is his mental health, it's his physical health. He's been injured quite a bit. He hasn't played more than 68 games since the 1920 season.
Yeah, I don't think Hughes is going to shake the dice on this guy. I really don't. Just too many problems. No, I don't think he fits with Montreal. I never did. I never wanted them to trade for him. He was up before when they took who went to
Pierre-Luc Dubois and him got traded one for one.
They got swapped, right?
Yeah, but now his value's gone down. The price has gone down to acquire him. So at 26 years old, this guy's 6'5", 215 pounds. He's basically Beckett Seneca, but already developed.
Sometimes acquisition price isn't. I mean, it's worse.
It's part of
the cap price is worse than the acquisition, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and that's where if they are able to get some cap, I think that will have to be part of a trade. Is cap Columbus will have to eat some of that money.
Yeah.
So if they don't, then it's off the table. I think for me, maybe.
So he played in Finland. That's where Reinbacher played, right?
He played in Switzerland. Yeah.
So I mean, he obviously is going to need somebody constantly to be there for him. So do you have anybody in the system who is capable of doing that?
Like a buddy, you mean? Like to keep him accountable?
Absolutely.
Nick Suzuki. Well, Nick Suzuki brought in Logan Mailloux when he had made his mistake overseas and brought him in, and they seem to have. He seems to be a different person than he was when he was 17 years old. I mean,
so and that makes sense. And so I mean, we know there's a guy who played quarterback for Green Bay who had a bit of a problem at one point, and a lot of it comes sometimes from pain. So pain management. So you will manage your pain with substance. Yeah. Exactly. And once you find out that that's the wrong way to manage pain, and you're taught, you can actually learn to change your behavior. Mm-hmm. So I believe it could be, but it's only going to be, you're only going to find that out by having a lot of interviews with this guy and trying to find out where his head's at. It's always going to be a chance. But you're taking a chance. No matter what, you're taking a chance. Whoever you draft with.
Yeah.
I mean, because something could happen. We're still, like we're still waiting to see if Kirby Dach is going to pan out.
Yeah, and
we don't know yet because he's played 2 seasons for us, but we haven't even been but we haven't been able to actually see what he can do yet. And we're trying to think that he's going to be a second line center,
which is a big role to fill. Yeah, with Newhook too.
So the beauty of our team is that we have so much depth in prospects and draft picks, et cetera, et cetera. And player development is where we spend a lot of money and a lot of time. So that's the good thing. So you can take the odd flyer here and there, but they've got to make sense. Taking this guy would definitely be, because he's 26-year-old, makes sense in the fact that we're rebuilding for a 5 to 7 year win of a cup, okay? If we're taking anybody who's older than that, I'm not interested because we have older players that we will have to offboard later. But now it comes down to somebody doing some serious interviews with this gentleman.
What do you think as far as the talent and potential of him as a player? Like,
he's got talent.
I mean, the potential's already been answered. We know what he can do.
And it comes down now as to whether he wants to change his life or if he's at that point in his life.
Well, this is the turn. This is
how they always talked about people, hitting the lowest point,
rock bottom. Yeah.
But nobody. Rock bottom is different for everyone.
Yeah, I think this is probably it for him.
Well,
to go into the player.
We're saying that, but is it? We don't know.
We don't know for sure.
And that's the problem. We don't know. Yeah, that's the rule.
What I like is, I mean, Carey Price went through this program, and some players have said it didn't help them or didn't work well enough for them. So we've seen one of our best players. I mean, you have your opinions on Carey, I know, but from a personal standpoint, we saw him coming on the other side of it healthy. And now he's a good dad to his kids and a family man.
He's not a hockey player anymore.
He's not a hockey player anymore. I get all that. But I'm saying that...
So that worked.
So, fine. But as far as the environment that Patrick Laine would be entering into with the Canadiens, these guys value character, and I think that he's got a lot of good role models to work with.
I agree 100%.
So, I think the environment itself is a great fit, actually. I think it's a wonderful fit because they are... all about redeeming players, bringing back out those qualities in players, and as people they value character more than they ever have.
And why do you think that is?
Because they have character people at the top.
So there's a guy named Ken Hughes.
That's correct.
There's another guy named Zito out there. What's his name? His first name?
Mr. Water Bottle?
Yeah.
Chuck Zito.
I mean, it's a shame that he did that last night, to be honest with you.
Why? He threw a water bottle. Big deal.
There's no reason to do it.
I've thrown one at Mike.
He was angry.
I'm sure you have. Now here's the deal. It's like 2 agents who know players better than anyone, because they've been going out on behalf of players, trying to get them their best deal, their best shot, their best seat, and so. The fact that we have a guy like Ken Hughes out there trying to help players because he comes from the background of being a player agent is amazing.
We're a team of redemption.
That's right. Shawshank Redemption, one of the greatest movies ever made.
We're on a mission from God.
Yes, we. I'm glad to hear you say it. Actually,
We are. I'm serious.
but honestly, I like we're coming at this from the right perspective of is it a right fit? And I agree with Arpin Bass, who said he thinks it could be a very good fit from a standpoint of
well, I love him
where they're at.
I love him as far as his talent goes. If we can tap into that talent, and he likes
He's a 40 goal scorer.
Yeah, and he likes the Canadiens. I mean, this is going to be a huge, huge move for the Canadiens. It's just there's that big if there.
What's the price?
And, it's just whether we want to give him a shot or not.
I think it's
Whether or not we believe in him.
That's right.
That's what it comes down to. Do
Yeah.
we believe in him as a person?
and hopefully he believes in him. He's got to believe in him.
Absolutely. And he wants to play and change what he's been doing.
and they'll fish it
You
up.
know what he needs? He needs to get his love of the game back. I think that's a big thing. He's got to be able to love himself too.
It's hard.
Now
not
you're
to-
getting real. He's got to first love himself and then go forward.
And it's hard not to with the Habs. I mean, every time they get out on the ice and Cole Caulfield scores a goal, you'd think it was his first goal in the NHL. Everybody's celebrating, and one of the new guys scored. It's like
He will light up that
Stanley.
he will
Oh,
light
yeah.
that city on fire in the greatest of ways if he can reclaim.
Oh, yeah.
They were debating, him and Matthews. Obviously, we know Matthews was the better player, but I mean, this guy, his size, his strength, the physical health. There's a lot of risk, but you got to take a risk at some point. And there's only 2 years left on his deal, so if the money makes sense, I think the rest is worth taking the risk.
Okay, I'm going to make the call today and tell Hughes just to get him and forget about it.
I'll do it right now.
There, get him on the blower.
All right. Anyway, I think he's the most realistic trade option if the price is right compared to Zegras, compared to Nikash. Those guys, Nikash wants a long-term deal. Zegras is on a 2-year deal, and we don't know if he fits. And he's gonna. Some people think he's soft and everything. Patrick Laine is a big dude who doesn't play soft. He's got skill. He could fit very well with this team.
And he's in that same age group.
In the age group, their age range with Nick Suzuki.
Just like Florida did with those 3 players that they brought in.
Like you bring him in on the top line, now you can shift Caulfield to the second line. And then you got a pretty darn good-looking second line of Newhook, Doc, and Caulfield or something like that. Or, Slavkovsky, Laine, and Nick Suzuki as your first line.
Absolutely.
Sounds pretty sexy to me.
Absolutely.
He's like Nash.
Yeah.
Guy like Nash.
Rick Nash?
Yeah, he was good.
Oh, he was
Rick
great.
Nash. I love watching Rick Nash.
I saw him play in person with Columbus,
He's
and one of his highlight reel assists was like a behind-the-back assist and just like into an open net. And I saw that live. Actually, that was cool.
So
Anyway,
before we get into, because we're getting to the witching hour here.
yeah, this show goes so fast.
Before we get into the Trois étoiles de la semaine dernière from John Fillion, anything else you guys want to mention about the draft coming up or what's going on with the Habs here? Somebody usually has something more than the same.
We've really covered all of it, honestly. Like all the possibilities, the desire for the Canadiens to grab a second top 15 pick, which I've mentioned before. I think it's going to be just so interesting to see what they do. It'd be really cool to see them make a trade for that. I mean, like I said, I think it might have to wait until the draft day itself, depending on who goes where, to see if the Canadiens are going to swap their pick. But I think Caden Lindstrom's at the top of their list, most likely. That was one thing I want to mention was Lindstrom. This I think it's more of a rumor than a fact at this point that his back injury is now somebody put it out there, and it wasn't a reputable source that I'm aware of, that he has a herniated disc rather than a muscular issue.
Oops.
So that has not been confirmed. So we've heard from Caden Lindstrom's camp.
Yeah, I think, didn't they provide everybody with a physical report?
Yes, and that wasn't in there that we know of.
Yeah.
Not right now.
Yeah.
You think that would have came out by now? So somebody put it out there, and Eric Engels even was talking to Tony Marinaro, and they were saying, "Well, who's confirmed that it is a herniated disc, right?" So I think what I'm getting at is that Lindstrom is still at the top of their list at number 5. If he's gone, I don't know. Like I don't know if they have a defenseman next, or if they have TJ Ginla or Beckett Seneca. I don't know. And if Demidov somehow magically is available at 5, that's the other thing. We were debating about whether Demidov or Lindstrom if they're both available at 5. I don't think they're both going to be available at 5. That sounds crazy.
I think Demidov could be available.
He could, but I don't think both of them will be. That would be weird.
You know who
Well,
knows?
If they were. Columbus has got to take Demidov or Lindstrom if they're both available.
Hughes knows.
Who's Chicago going to take?
We don't know.
So
Lev
I think
Shunov.
they're taking a defenseman.
You think a defenseman?
I think another defenseman is going to go, and then it's a matter of who gets chosen fourth, and that determines who.
Columbus is really the
and
big one for
that's
us.
going to mean who you choose fifth. Yeah, if Columbus goes off and takes one of these forwards, which they probably will, then that'll determine who we take fifth.
So there you go.
I think it's that simple.
Okay, the troisième étoile, John Fillion.
You know, it's funny, but I was going to give
Connor McDavid.
Corey Perry a star because here's a guy who helped us in a playoff run. He's helped Tampa Bay in a playoff run, and now he's helping Edmonton in a playoff.
Dallas
run.
too.
I mean, kudos to Corey Perry.
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree.
If we could find a player, in the draft or any of our prospects or whatever, and develop him so that 20 years from now or 15 years from now he was a Corey Perry, hats off.
If that's another player you'd love to see get his second cup because he has tried so hard.
Oh yeah.
To do that. So anyway, but you're right. It'd be cool to see a guy have a career like him. Is what you're getting at.
Absolutely. I mean, again, the management continues to build the culture for this team. It's player services. I mean, they look after so many things that makes players want to come to Montreal. And then, therefore, that makes it easier. That's why I believe when they go to a combine, they're interviewing over 100 people.
To find these players.
And they're also letting it be known, because this will obviously spread through the league, spread through all the people who want to play hockey in the NHL, what Montreal is about.
And number 3?
And number 3, Connor McDavid. If we could get a player like Connor McDavid, if we need to have that elite player on our hockey team to win.
Well,
so it's nice to build.
He's one in a billion.
It's nice to build a team like Zito is building in Florida, but I think you need that. You need that Gretzky, you need the Lemieux, you need the McDavid. You need an elite player to lead your team, and I'm hoping it's Slafkovsky. But if it's not, we got to go find one, and we're still looking for a goaltender.
Okay, and I'm going to throw in an honorable mention to Jake Evans, who got married in Ireland.
Congratulations to Jakey.
And Toffoli was there.
His good buddy, yep. He's a free agent.
And so was Edmondson.
Who?
Edmondson.
Yeah, he's going to re-sign with the Leafs, though.
Toffoli's a free agent?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not bringing him back, though.
No.
Oh, I don't think so.
As much as it would...
he's hoping we do. Right? He's hoping.
Yeah.
Who's the guy who went to, was it Vancouver this year we shipped somebody to?
Casey DeSmith?
No, it was Winnipeg. Who did we send to Winnipeg?
Sean Monahan. That's
who we want to bring back.
He might.
If anybody, that is the signing that I would make for 2 years.
I loved him when he was here. I just think
he knows the system. He knows the players.
He wants term, though, I bet.
I don't know. If we could get him for a couple more years, that would be excellent to just shore up the team as the team progresses.
It's not a bad case.
That's my feeling
to make. But
and on that note,
I want a healthy Kirby Dach is what I want.
Well, we'll get that this year. Don't worry about it.
That's what I want.
Him and Newhook, we need them both healthy this year.
And we want a Stanley Cup.
That's right.
Woo!
25 and 25.
That's
what I'm looking for.
Oh, by the way, all you Toronto Maple Leaf fans, this is what they look like.
Oh, boy. You got his shot in. You got to get it in.
Absolutely.
Whether at the beginning or the end of the show, you got to get it in.
I'm just trying to help them. This is what they look like. I don't think they made them back in 67.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. We're getting out of here. Next week is the last show before the draft, and then we'll be doing Draft Night Live with Drew Deeks and John Fillion, and we're going to be going crazy. I know we're going to be going crazy.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Live on the channel, on the Drew Deeks channel.
Thank you for listening in. This is Habsolutely. My name is Paul K. Lemire. I'm here with John Fillion, my co-host.
Bonjour, mon ami.
And our number one guest.
Au revoir.
Co-host, guest, whatever you want to call him, Drew Aginla over here, Drew Deeks, who, don't forget, he has a YouTube channel, and you can watch all his shows all the time. And he has some great wrap-ups of all the games and analysis, and he's with some great guests. Yeah, a good show on YouTube.
So are we doing a short of this show as well?
A what?
You know how you did a short of the last show that we did?
Like a clip, you mean?
Yeah, like a 10-minute
probably be
brief?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Most likely. I mean, we released a clip about talking about the trade options at the draft, this and that, whatever. But yeah, that's the beauty of doing an hour show. We can clip it much as we want and put it out to a bigger audience out there who's not going to maybe watch the longer show, though you should. Give us a chance. Yeah. We're not that bad. We don't know that much about hockey, but we're not that bad.
Have a great day. Don't forget to give us a like on YouTube. We'll see you next week
Salut.
at noon on Habsolutely. Take care, everybody.